Well, I hope you've had a great summer and anticipation in your household, whatever that is, whether you have kids or not, is building towards the back to school season. And it really just is an event that marks a season for us. One of the reasons there's anticipation building for us is because back to school means lots of new programs starting, people getting back in their normal rhythms, being here on a regular basis. And I hope you're getting excited about that. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in this year to sort of our annual on-demand meeting. The reason we went this direction is because we felt like a lot more people could experience this meeting, which our Constitution, by the way, sort of requires in this season. And as a mission partner, which is what we're relaunching membership as, by the way, our Constitution provides a really unique opportunity for all of those who are members in our church or mission partners in our church. And that allows you to confirm our upcoming fiscal year board and budget that we've been working hard on over the last few months. And so this sort of online meeting provides the context for that board and budget. So speaking of context, I'll get to some of those details in just a minute, but our vision as a church, I always want us to bring us back to our vision. Our vision is to be an irresistible church for our next door neighbors and the next generation. You've heard that over and over and over again, but we're trying to hone in on it and be more and more laser focused on that specific thing. As a matter of fact, if you'll remember, and some of you may be new enough that this is something you didn't experience, but we talked a couple of years ago about resisting the resistible. In fact, that was a phrase we sort of took to heart, and lots of people on our different volunteer teams and in our different ministry areas began looking at things in our different ministries that were resistible. And we decided, we have to figure out what are the things that are keeping people from engaging, keeping people from wanting to come and come back on a regular basis. And we decided to start to really develop not just a big long list, but categories of big things that were resistible. And that turned into what ultimately became our 2020 vision. And many of you were a part of developing that. You don't really know, but you've heard a lot about it. There were three specific initiatives that were involved in our 2020 vision. We've talked a lot about this, and we've done an inordinate amount of work this year. I'll get to that in just a second in moving these things forward. As a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks from now, in August, I'm gonna give a lot of time in our service where I'm gonna update you on the specific things we've been doing, the progress that's been made. But the first area was irresistible community. And that was an area that we wanted to focus on. We really wanted the ways that people engage in our community, in our groups here at Mission, to really be irresistible. And one of the things we felt like is we need to help people engage into the right things. And so you've heard us talk about this, but we've been working hard on something called the Thrive Experience. And if you haven't seen this yet or heard about it, this is incredibly exciting. A massive amount of work has gone into this, a lot of content development, a lot of beta testing. We've developed our own proprietary tool. We hired an outside group to develop a tool for us that involves an exhaustive assessment that's gonna help people know exactly how to engage so that they can grow spiritually in their faith. And so that's a big part of what we're wanting to focus on in moving our vision forward. And our 2020 vision as a part of that was this Thrive initiative really became a centerpiece to what we're doing, and it launches in just a few weeks, and we couldn't be more excited about it. We're hoping this year to get our entire church to go through this, and then everybody who comes new to our church to engage in this way so they know best how to engage in our church so that they can grow most spiritually in terms of their own personal life. The second thing was irresistible impact, and we've talked a lot about this, of having impact outside of our church. We do a lot of little initiatives throughout the year, certainly every month we have some initiative, whether it's we're bringing canned foods and things for one of our local partners or other specific initiatives throughout the year. But this year we took a huge step forward. We wanted to make twice the impact in our community that we did last year. So we doubled the number of serve days that we were gonna have. And actually this year we had 2,530 hours were served in our community through our LoveWorks events, the two specific LoveWorks serve days. And if you calculate that up, that is literally over a year's worth of full-time work that we donated, the people in our church gathered together to give to our partners, 7 specific partners in our community, and which was an extraordinary effort. The really cool thing is about 275 of the people that showed up were kids and youth in the next generation. And so they showed up in full force to be a part of that. And we're hoping hoping for even more impact this year. But we did some really cool things this last year. Also, we're trying to create irresistible environments. That was the other piece of our 2020 vision. And a lot of you have been waiting for this. You've been looking for an update. In fact, I've gotten emails from several of you going, hey, what's happening with this? When are we going to get started on this? And I'm excited to tell you, we are ready to go on phase 1 of our construction project. And phase 1 is going to involve our preschool space and our student small group space. And I'll give you a preview. I'm going to show you more of this in a few weeks. A preview of some update. This is the hallway that's going to be the outdoor hallway into the preschool area. There's going to be some fun pieces in the hallway that are engaging for kids, what they want to be in. But as you remember, if I'll show you another overview, this building that we had for our preschool space, one of the things was it was a nightmare. It had like 30,000 doors. I actually think it was only about 30, but doors to the outside that made it easy for kids to escape. And one of our highest values when it comes to kids is safety. And so we've remedied that. There's really only one way in and one way out. That other view you were looking was showing this corridor here, but everybody's going to enter the same way and come out the same way. It'll be way better. There's emergency exits, obviously, but there's really only one way in and one way out to provide safety and security for our kids, which is awesome. And then our small group space, half of our office space is going to be turned into small group spaces for our youth, for our junior high and high school students. And so we've made a lot of progress this last year towards that 2020 vision. Again, in just a few weeks, I'm going to share a whole lot more of that with you, give you some more details on some of that stuff. But there were a whole bunch of wins on top of that. This last year, we had 222 new people join a community group. Weren't previously connected, weren't previously involved. They got connected into a group, so they moved out of a row and into a circle. 222 people, which puts us at about 58% of our average weekend attendance in a group, which is really healthy for us at church. We had 236 youth, junior high and high school students, added to a tribe, which is a big deal. We made some shift, and we're still working out the kinks in this shift in the way we're doing groups for students this year. But we saw a lot more kids, far more than we had before, engage into groups in tribes. 236 new youth were added to tribes this year. In terms of serving, we've had a lot of new people engage in serving in our church, and our serving's grown significantly. We're at about 44% of our weekend attendance, but this is such a cool number. We have 177 youth and preteens that are involved in serving in our church, which I just think that's extraordinary. They're not only served on a regular basis, which they are, because so many of you are involved serving them, many of them have stepped out of their environments to serve kids that are younger than them and serve in other ways in our church. And I just think that's extraordinarily healthy, and I'm extraordinarily proud of that in terms of the efforts of our next gen teams to get those kids giving back and serving within our church. That's just serving within our church. We had about 80 people go on mission trips this year. We had 6 different trips that went to 5 different locations. I said that backwards. 6 trips. I'm sorry, that's right. 6 trips to 5 locations. We had next gen trips. We had adult trips. They went to Malawi and San Diego and to Mexico and to Tucson and to Atlanta. And in these trips, there were extraordinary things that happened as a result. And again, that's just a preview. In a few weeks, we're going to share some more details about that. But so many awesome experiences this weekend, this summer. Many of you were a part of that. You either were a part of sending, praying for, you helped fund some of those kids and adults to go on those trips, and you are a big part of that, and it had a significant impact literally around the world this year. Then another cool thing that happened this year is we saw a lot of new guests show up at Mission. In fact, our average new households per week rose to about 12 average new households showed up here every week, which is the highest in about 3 years. So in any given Sunday, we had about 12 new households of families or individuals that showed up here on our campus that we know of, that either checked in their kids or they stopped by the hub. We think it's higher than that, but in terms of how we track this is a number that we've been tracking for a number of years, and this has risen to a good degree this year, and that's because of a lot of your invitations. I know some of these people actually represent some people that are really close to me. I have some friends that are coming, and the amazing thing is they're not only coming, they haven't decided to place their faith in Jesus, but they're coming regularly, and now now they've started inviting other people regularly because of what they're getting out of their experience. And I know that's true for some people that you've invited as well, which is really awesome. And then the number we always love to celebrate this year, 109 people stepped into the waters of baptism, were baptized here at Mission, went public with their faith, and those baptism Sundays are always exciting Sundays for us. If you know somebody or if you've never been baptized, we'd love for you to be baptized here at Mission in a week upcoming. But this is always an exciting thing to celebrate because it shows new life in our church, and it's a number worth celebrating. This next year, so that's a little bit about this past year. This next year, though, we're sort of moving into a new season. In the past, we focused a little bit on vision alignment and vision maturation, and even strategic development, trying to align our strategy to that vision. But this year, we really believe our fiscal year 1920 is a growth year. And we really want to focus on growth. And instead of just on strategic development or maturing our vision, we really think this year is the year that we want to see growth in all levels in our church. We want to see physical growth and spiritual growth and relational growth in our group environments, in our weekend attendance environments, in people's hearts and in their lives. And so all of our key initiatives for this year that are represented in the budget that we propose to you, funded by that budget, are really focused around growth this year. There are 4 specific key initiatives I want to just tell you about just for a second. The first one's adult engagement. And here's the thing about adult engagement is it's getting a little bit of an overhaul this year because of the Thrive experience. I want you to think about this because I think we're sort of reinventing and we're at least turning upside down what it looks like to engage in church. Instead of now people coming and us saying, hey, here's a bunch of things we have for you to get involved in. Tell us what you'd like to get involved in, or here's what we think you need to get involved in. We're having people come and they're going to come into the Thrive experience and we're going to say, you tell us about you. Tell us about where you are in your faith. Tell us about how you're wired. Tell us about sort of your experience in life with faith and with God and with church. And then we're going to allow the information people gave us to tell us what they need. There's a tremendous amount of research has gone into what people need in different stages of faith. And we've used that expert research to develop this proprietary tool that's going to help people engage where they need to engage so they grow the most out of the things that they engage in. One of the things I know is that you don't have unlimited time, and neither does anybody. And we need to engage people in the right types of things, not just activity. That doesn't help people grow. We want to engage them in the right types of things that they need at the right stage of their faith. So personalized plans are going to help us discover what people need, and then we're going to develop programming based on the needs of people in our church. And we hope to really see people grow in tremendous ways spiritually this year within our church. A second one is invest and invite. And this is about numeric growth. And we're not going to shy back from numeric growth because numeric growth actually helps us know we're accomplishing the Great Commission that Jesus gave us in Matthew 28, to go out and to reach out to people and invite them to place their faith in Jesus, to hear the gospel. And so we're going to spend some extra effort and time this year, not just creating events where people can invite. We're going to do that, and we're excited about that. We've got some ideas of bringing back some things like Date Night Phoenix, doing a parents' night out. We have one of the ideas I'm most excited about is we're talking about doing a For Everyone 4K. Like a 4K race, because a 5K wouldn't be for everyone because not everyone can run a 5K, but we think everyone can run a 4K. So we want to do a For Everyone 4K so that everybody can engage. And this is really more of a community event that we would do here. It'd be a great and easy thing to invite people to. But I feel like in the past, we've been pretty good at creating events that people can invite to. We want to help people, equip people this year to grow in their investment in other people so that when the time is right, they can invite, they can cash in on that investment. And so we want people to grow in that so that we grow through people's investment and inviting of other people to our church. And a third initiative is around improved retention. And some of you have given us this feedback. In fact, we've asked some of you for some help and some feedback in this because one of the things we've discovered is we've got some room to grow here, that we have some room for improvement in retention. Some of our teams and our groups aren't as sticky as we'd like for them to be. And we've created some brand new feedback loops, and some of you may have even seen those, for people who used to go here. And some people just moved to different places, but other people, they dropped out or they quit coming to church, and we want to find out why. We want to know what happened. And we want to shore up the back door. We want to shore up the gaps and the loopholes in our church so that nobody slips out the back door. We want to help those people to engage, and we want this place to be a place where people truly feel a sense of belonging. We're going to talk more about that. And then lastly, I've already talked a little bit about this, is our 2020 phase one. This year, you're going to see some, in the coming weeks, you're going to see some visuals of that in the lobby, some more visuals. But this is one of our big key initiatives, and this was developed, the plan was developed by our staff. Many of you have given to this, and we want to implement this year. We want all of phase one to be completed in this year so we can take advantage of it as we move into our new ministry season next year. These key initiatives are things that were developed by our staff, approved by our board. They're reflected in the budget that you received. And we hope you're excited about this next ministry season. We feel like we've been building, casting vision, saturating vision, developing strategy, developing programs, developing systems, trying to create irresistible spaces, trying to create irresistible environments, trying to create irresistible community and groups. And we feel like this is a year where we're really going to begin to cash in on that. We're asking God to help us all grow individually, to grow us as leaders, to grow us as parents, to grow our marriages, to grow us spiritually, to grow us numerically, and to help us to have a growing impact, to make an indelible, lasting impact in this community. You've heard me say this before. We believe our legacy will be how we impact those who are around us and those who come behind us. That's why our vision is to be an irresistible church for our next door neighbor and the next generation, because we believe the church ought to be irresistible, just like the gospel message of Jesus is irresistible for those who come face to face with it. So thank you so much for your partnership in this. I want to remind you, you have till July 29th to complete the online confirmation form for the completion of this sort of online annual meeting so that we can approve our budget and our board for this upcoming year. All the details are attached to the email that this link was in. And I don't want you to miss August the 4th is our official back to school weekend. Parents meet their small group leaders, their kids' small group leaders, new small group leaders that day. We've got some special things happening, celebrations happening in this room, and then also some special things going on outside that you're not going to want to miss. The Thrive Experience is launching that day. It's just going to be a big day on campus. You're not going to want to miss it as we celebrate the launch of a new ministry season. And I'd love for you to invite somebody. It'd be a fantastic day for you to invite somebody as we launch into this new season together. So again, I hope you're excited. We're excited, and we're so grateful for your partnership with us in ministry.